Hi, everybody. Hi, my name is Elizabeth Spraggins. I am the founder of All Joy Inspired. I am also the owner of Digging from Darkness, Living in Light. Today, we have a very, very special show for you today. Today's topic is going to be getting out of your comfort zone. And today, we have a special guest. Now, this individual has a lifelong history of service to his country. His family and his friends are all familiar with the lifestyle. Recently, after his time in the military came to a close, he did other jobs for a living, and he has discovered some new courage. He's got a great story to tell. And this episode today is for those of you who are thinking that maybe you're in a job and you're not quite so happy. You feel stuck. You want to do something different, but you're not sure what. You don't know how to get started. You don't know. You just don't know which way is up. And that's okay, because we've got somebody here who did something else after his time in the military came to a close. And he just decided one day that he wanted to do something different. So without further ado, let's get this party started. I introduce to you Hi, Ivan. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I just got off a 12-hour shift. Got off late the day I needed to be home early. Haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm so happy and excited to be on your show. We've been together on this evolving since the beginning.
The very beginning.
I guess I'm like one of your number one cheerleaders. You know that. Minus the miniskirt.
That means so much to me, Ivan. I really appreciate this. I would love for people, our viewers, to understand a little bit more about you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I really appreciate your time with us today. And I'm just hoping to be able to reach other people like you who might not have found that ability to cross over into beginning to open their new business. So what I'd like to ask you first, before you decided to open your own business, what is it that you did or do for a living? What do you do now?
Right now, I'm a sanitation tech at a food plant. Basically, you know those little rectangular pretzels filled with peanut butter or cheese, or we have a variety that's a brownie that you could get at under different brands in Costco, Walmart, Trader Joe, under Kirkland brands. We make them for many different perks. We do them for many different companies under different names, but they're all done in our plant here in Pennsylvania. And my job is basically, I'm a fancy name for someone who cleans huge machines. These machines are like 2 to 3 stories high, and
wow.
And over longer than a train, a passenger train, longer than a passenger train. It takes right now we're short of personnel, but it usually takes 6 people to get one done in a weekend.
That is amazing, man. Like I am so like, how long have you been doing that?
Oh, it's almost coming up. Monday will be 2.5 years. Basically all through the pandemic. I worked all through the pandemic. We were in contact constantly. And you got to be basically able to take a lot of heat, not be afraid of heights or in close spaces. To me, it's one of the easiest jobs I've ever had. But
really?
Basically, I've had hard jobs because I've had most of my life in the military. Even before I left junior high and high school, I was planning to be in the military. And just like you, I was on the delayed entry program before the first Desert Storm started.
That's amazing. So did you go right into this job right out of the military after you retired?
No, after I got off active duty in 2011, out of Fort Bliss, El Paso,
Mhm.
They gave me they didn't really want to let me go, so they gave me over
Right.
a $30,000 bonus and sent me to the reserves.
Yeah.
So
I
I
know
was
that
sitting.
feeling.
So I was sitting at home. I came over here to Pennsylvania, which is where I decided to step my roots and be an adopted son of Philadelphia. And I had this money, and I
Hey.
didn't have to work all year, and it was driving me crazy. 3 months in, I don't have to work. I got money coming in, money in the bank. I bought all new furniture, a brand new apartment with a gym and a pool, and it's driving me crazy. So
I gotta
because
tell you, you are one of the most fun individuals I have ever met. I swear to you, you are one of the lights of my day. I'm so curious though. Like, do you remember that moment? Oh, 1 second. Do you remember that moment when you were in this job, which is super cool, by the way? I have never met anybody who does what you do. Do you remember that moment when you thought to yourself, I really should be working for myself. I really want to do something else.
really started with me and you in 2001, and you were going through some stuff. I was going through some stuff with basically. I thought, hey, my midlife crisis is over. I'm 51. My cousin dies. My brother dies all of a sudden. I'm having trouble, and I say, I'm hurting inside, but I got to get through this. And there are other men out there that are going through the same thing, and I could help them out through their journey in their 40s and 50s that feel stuck or lost, or that they don't want to get out of bed in the morning, or they just get out of bed. My older brother, he would wake up to go to work, and he'd grab his shoes, and I would see him staring at his shoes for like 15 minutes before putting on a shoe, because he just like it was like his life was over and he didn't know what to do. And people feel stuck, or they wake up early in the morning, or they can't get sleep at night, wake up early in the morning, and they don't want to get out of bed. They don't want to get out their door and go do their job, or they're going to a job they hate to pay the bills because they have to support their family. But I think it was the first or the last show of the year, one of the first shows of this year's, and we talked about this. And I said, remember that show? And it was basically feeling stuck. And
Yeah.
I say, I've been there before. I've gotten out of that, and I'm a little bit there. So I'm going to it's going to be New Year's. I'm going to set a date and time, and I'm going to put a plan, because I have children. They're adult children. I have a daughter in college. I have responsibilities to take care of. I have bills to take care of. So I'm going to set up some dates, and I'm going to take some small steps to get this done. And by taking these small steps, it energizes you. It gives you, at least me personally, I wake up with even more energy and more hope and more excitement of what I'm doing. And you've seen my planner. It's a kick-ass planner. It's a kick-ass planner. And basically I wake up, like this morning, I woke up at 2 a.m, couldn't get back to sleep. I put it on my phone, took a shower, shaved, walked my dog, got ready to go to work. I was out the door and at work at 4 a.m.
Man, you are a beast. So what's so far? Because opening up your own business, it takes steps. It takes planning. What have you learned about opening your business so far?
Well, I've asked you some questions. I've researched with LegalZoom and some other websites on the LLC paperwork and accounting part of it. I decided to go with LegalZoom, and usually by the end of this month, beginning of next month, most of my LLC paperwork will either be finalized or in process. Right now, I'm going to stick with my own accountant for now, but I'm going with LegalZoom's business agent, because I plan to take, at least by the end of 2014, I want my business to be completely mobile. So if I want to be in North Carolina, I can be in North Carolina. If I want to be in Florida or in Tampa, I can be in Tampa, and I can take my calls or my online clients. I can talk to them online. If you don't want to be a client of mine, if you live within 25 miles of me, if you live within 25 miles or 50 miles of me, I will show up at your door at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning to wake you up with coffee in a bucket, to saying, let's go, you're walking today with me.
Oh my goodness.
And if you
You are
want to know
such
what
a
the
trip.
bucket for is, it's the bucket is for their tears, their excuses, or if they were drinking the night before, we have something to throw up on. And then,
We guys, we have so much more coming with Ivan. Ivan is, I told you, he's a fun dude. Like, we've got more coming from Ivan Jimenez. We are going to take a quick sponsorship break. You know this. At alljoyinspired.store, we have hand-picked gifts for men, women, and youths to give to the special people in your life as they go through changes, or just to say I love you. Heavy discounts for military members, first responders, and their families. Customer service is always available. All joy inspired. I appreciate you so much. This is the most fun I've had in a while. I adore the crap out of you, and I'm trying not to use foul language because
no,
then
guess what? We haven't used the Joe Puckett word.
oh my God, James, it's James Paquette.
James. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye, trying
I
to keep
love
it
that
clean for
guy.
both of us.
He's going to be on my next sex worker edition show because but what people don't know outside of our group is that he was actually a highly awarded performer in the adult industry. Can you believe that? That'll be next week though. So we are
Yeah,
moving on.
and love
And
your
I
score, by the way. There are two
and
piece items. One that I'm going to get for my wife, and one that I'm going to get for myself. The pendant.
there is something that I messed up, and we'll talk about that later. I totally messed all that stuff.
Hey,
I
we live and
totally
learn. We're learning, right? We're learning.
I totally messed it up, but I fixed the problem. Like that's why when you called me just before the show, I was actually online with the. It's a mess. I'll tell you later.
Failing
So
forward.
tell me about your business. I want to know what it is that you're getting ready to do and what you're building right now. Tell me all about that.
Okay, I'm building basically a life coach, but it's mostly for men in their 40s and 50s that feel uh, something's wrong in their life. It could be their health, their fitness, their relationship. It could be like I suffer from PTSD and suffer from survivor's guilt. Uh, I'm actually 53 years old. I take no medication. Uh, I've lost almost my older brother and sister, younger brother and sister, uh, they passed away before I did. Uh, I have friends that have committed suicide because they just can't deal with the pain of. They were military members and they just can't deal with the pain of living. And most people don't know outside the military, or people like us, they don't know that we've lost more people to suicide than in all the war combined.
There
And
is
and I ask people like, hey, reach out. You don't know what people are going through. Reach out to a friend, a family member. And there are a lot of coaching. There's a lot of counseling. There's a lot of help out there, also for women. But for middle-aged men, they'll just usually bottle it up. They'll go through a divorce. They'll lose their job, and they'll zero themselves out. They'll either commit suicide or suicide by cop, which most people don't even think about. And we've had veterans that they set themselves on fire in Philadelphia, right in front of the Veterans Hospital, a couple of years ago.
oh my
So, like
gosh.
I said, my niche as coach is basically to reach out to those people, whether it's a holistic approach, whether it's their fitness, relationship. Sometimes they just need someone to talk to that's been there, that's been through it.
Will you be assembling a network of medical and mental health professionals should their needs go beyond what your coaching capabilities are?
Actually, they're in my thing is basically they usually will have they have their doctors, they have their therapists, and I'm a coach. They may be going through. I will always refer them back to their psychologist, their therapist first, or VA. But there's sometimes when what you need is a brother, someone who's been there, that's going through it or been through it, to help you out. Not just another psychiatrist or psychologist or medical doctor telling you take your pills and see me
Mm,
next month.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you are such an inspiration. I got to tell you, Ivan, your sense of humor and your relatability. I immediately felt comfortable, talking to you, and you were so approachable. And we're from almost different worlds outside of the similarities that we have. But you were one of the first people to treat me like a human being. When I told the world I don't want to be a performer anymore, you were one of the most supportive people to be first on my side. So I know you're going to have great success with people. You're really
Yeah.
easy to talk to, and you're
And
fun.
remember, the dimples is one of the superpowers.
It is a superpower. What step is next for you? What do you need to do next
Well,
to
like I said, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I put in my 2 weeks notice at my job uh, last week.
Ooh,
Friday is my last day at work, and I've actually
wow.
have people calling me and emailing me for other jobs part time in my security. Uh, my aspect that I've also done private and event security. Uh, Either in the industrial sector, and I've also done conventions and events, which also went downhill because of the pandemic and all the conventions, weddings were shut down. But I actually have like 3 different job offers on the table. But that I'm probably only going to do it like 2 days a week as I transition until I get clients going
You
or
know,
regular
well,
clientele.
as one of my very first coaching students, I am more than happy to walk with you along in this process because you are such a promising enterprise. You have the ability to reach people who other people may never be able to. You just have a way with people, Ivan. I'm so excited to see your
Yeah, and like
future
I said, I've
unfold.
been doing this off and in person and online for like basically maybe 15 years in my time as you've been in the military, and you know that we have to co-mentor uh, our fellow sailors and soldiers who are going to replace us. And you know, some of the people we dealt with were kind of didn't have it as hard or as poor as you and me were growing up in the city, and they were kind of cuddled. And in boot camp, they totally kids totally lost it, like in the first few days and the weeks. And oh, I'm gonna kill myself, or I want my mommy. Or there was one that his one of my fellow sailors and recruits, his mom was going through cancer.
Oh,
Well, and they didn't write him a letter until like halfway through. His mom was going through cancer while he was in boot camp, and he would cry at night and stuff like that. And he was overweight. We would call him Reddit because he was like the most freckled, red hair, overweight kid you've ever seen. And I was a little bit older, and I was like, I would talk to him late until night and he was crying until he fall asleep and said, "No matter what you do in the run, you're gonna run and you don't stop. You follow me in the run." And he passed boot camp. He passed the runs.
mhm.
He made it through boot camp. And the night before graduation, I didn't have anyone. I didn't get any letters. I didn't have anyone coming to my graduation, so I had to do basically parking duty and escort duty. But his mother and family came up to me, his mother in a wheelchair, and said, hey, God bless you. You're Ivan. Everybody's told me about you. And everybody in the company knew, the recruit company, that I did not receive any mail whatsoever.
I
And
I wow, I can't imagine that. Hey, so Ivan, before we move on, here's what I
Sure,
would really like to know.
go right
You
ahead.
are you are making some pretty big changes in your life, and you're doing, things that are right for you by going after something that's important to you. What would you, as someone in this process, like to tell people thinking about doing it, but maybe not quite brave enough to try yet?
Okay, like I said, uh, at work, try not to tell human resources what you're up to. Uh, that's one. Two, take small steps every day, every week to get you closer to your goal. Do not put actual hours that are to-do lists, but use a calendar instead. And talk to your wife, your family, make some adjustment, pay off your biggest bills,
Pay
pay
off the
off your
biggest bill.
biggest bills or put your bills up to date. But like I said, set some actual date goals and go little by little. Invest. If you're not already have a foot in the type of business, you're wanting to go through, start reading about it, apprenticeship about it, learn more about it. And
Yep.
another thing is don't wait till you're ready. You'll never, if you
Yeah.
wait until you feel that you're absolutely ready, you're not going to do it.
Have you set up
I'm
your
in that phase,
website yet?
but it's propelling me forward. The
Good.
energy and the anxiety, and I'm feeling every day when I get up, I actually feel more hopeful because I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. I'm doing
Have you
which is bringing hope and showing love, trying to teach others to get out of their problems, and showing I'm a person that I'm not an administrator, I'm not a manager. The only way I lead is by example, and that's only like I'm more like Mr. Miyagi or Picard. I see your strengths, your weaknesses. I point out what your strengths are that you might not see. You might see your strengths as your weaknesses. I identify what your strengths are, what you're good at, and how this is what you do. Don't get down on yourselves. Go for it. I'm more, the way I teach by example. I tell
Mhm.
people stories, life stories, parables,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And basically, like little Mr. Miyagi. But basically, if you wait till you're ready, you won't do. You gotta go forward, because
Yeah.
sometimes people want to be so ready about everything, and then they'll be paralyzed and not do anything. They'll
I agree.
overanalyze, and like I
I
tell my
agree.
wife, stop brain effing yourself.
There's censors out there.
I love fudge.
You know what? Benny Maines, he's from Philadelphia as well. He's actually, in your area. We got to get Benny on the show too,
Yeah,
because
I
Benny
think
would be like,
Benny lives. If I'm right, I think Benny lives within about an hour from me. When he moved over here from New York, I think he lives about an hour from me, because I call it, Smallville, Pennsylvania. You've seen the
oh,
videos
dude,
when I'm walking in the dark and in the fog early in the morning.
God. So before we go, have you set up your business website yet?
No, what I've been doing is I've been changing my profiles into semi either business profiles or semi business profiles on Twitter and on Facebook, and I haven't done it completely on my Instagram, but I have it. I've made it a professional one both on Twitter and on Facebook. And like I
So
said, there's some people that I'll talk to you offline, but people here in the group, they know that they can call me up for something or email me, or if
yeah,
they need, if I see that they need something, I usually will refer them to Benny, or refer them to our DD214 people, or
Mhm.
if I need something, I might refer them to you, which I
you know.
think I've done in the future.
Thank you. I really appreciate everything you're doing. And we will of course talk every day like we do every day, and I will keep on top of this, and the second you have information to share with the public, I'm more than happy to share that. Ivan, before we go, what are your social media handles? How can people find you?
Okay, they can find me on. You can look up Thunderbird 369 on Instagram, or Thunderbird on Twitter, or Ivan Jimenez on Facebook. Ivan Jimenez on Facebook. And obviously, one of the easiest ways to find me is to go to All Joy Inspired on Twitter, or that other person, which we'll not talk about, your alter ego.
No,
So,
you mean Alora Jensen?
yes, those are some of the easiest way to find me, is to go to All Joy Inspired on
Oh,
Twitter.
bless your heart. Benny, I mean, sorry, I've got Benny on the brain. I meant no disrespect. Ivan, you are one of my very favorite people. I adore you. You and the other group experts in our Digging from Darkness, Living in Light. And are you available in the group Digging from Darkness, Living in Light to talk to people who might have questions for you about things?
Of course, I'm available for them. I might not be able to get them back, back to them usually within 24 hours, or sometimes less, because you know me, I can be up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning when you're going to sleep. I know you're going to sleep because I'm still awake.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometime.
yeah, sometimes when you're trying to get to sleep. Yeah, so but I usually have a maybe a 2 hour to a 24 hour turnaround if I'm working, because like I said, I work 12 hours shifts. On my day off, I'll probably get that back to them within 15 minutes because I'll have my phone on me.
That is
Um,
awesome. Thank you
um,
so much.
and I
I,
did
I
put my phone information on both my Twitter. I think both my Facebook and Twitter now have my phone information or my email information, or just DM me. They can DM me.
you are an inspiring man. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you, Ivan. And we will see you hopefully soon. I hope you'll come back to the show.
Keep being the thunder and follow your heart. When you feel that light fill your heart, don't follow that. You know how it
Feel
warms up your.
be
You know what we're talking about.
Ivan Jimenez, everybody. Ivan has been one of my biggest supporters since the very beginning, since before I decided I was going to do something different for a living. If you or someone you know can relate to Ivan and would feel comfortable receiving his coaching services, please feel free to reach out to me or to Ivan. You can find him on Thunderbird on IG. That was the one I had time to type. Ivan, he's always keeping me on my toes. Or get a hold of All Joy Inspired and we will pass along his information for you. We have had so much to talk about, and I am so grateful to you, Ivan, for being such a valuable part of our mission. You are an amazing human being. I appreciate you. Woo! So we are moving on, you guys, and let's get this show on the road. Yeah. It has been a wild ride, and we all learn as we go because, like Ivan Jimenez says, it's important not to wait until you feel ready or until you feel like everything's just right. What he meant was, and what I strongly believe as well, is that if you don't get started, chances are sometimes you never will. You got to learn as you go with certain major changes. Of course, some planning is appropriate when making changes that involve your finances. But if you wait until everything is just right, you might miss an amazing opportunity to do something spectacular. Excuse me, air in my lungs. So, I got lost. I got so excited. I got so excited to have Ivan on the show. Ivan's one of my favorite people. But I wanted to let you guys know, though, not waiting until conditions are just right, not waiting until everything is perfect. Learning as you go is a valuable way to reinforce a strong foundation. And here's what I mean by that. I was in the adult industry in one way or another for about 15 years. I did a lot of things I wish I could take back, and some other things I really enjoyed about the job. But when something occurred to me that I no longer wanted to do that, I had a choice to make. Was I going to stay in that way of life, in that living that I was making, or was I going to choose to do something else? And it was either right then and there, if my conviction was that strong, go on, move forward. Do something different, Elizabeth, or at least get started on the process. So yeah, I get it. Taking that first step and deciding, if not right this minute, And eventually I want to do something different. That is the very first step, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a scary thing. It is scary, even just to say to yourself or your spouse, if you're married, or if you have a family, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something different. I want to do something that makes me feel like a good person, or makes me feel happier, like I'm not wasting my time. Something that pays me the money that I feel like I deserve to be making right now. Because what I'm doing right here, this is not working for me. Yeah, I feel that. I do. I feel that. So how do you deal with that fear of taking that first step? How do you deal with that? How do you move beyond being afraid? Take that first step to start making plans about opening your own business or working for yourself. It depends on how you choose to see things. I have a saying, and I strongly believe this, and I didn't coin the saying, but I live by it. Fear is your self-destruction fighting for survival. When you're living in a way that is not making you happy, and that could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a habit. When you're living in a way that is not good for you, that doesn't make you feel like you're aligned with your joy, and you start making changes, being afraid of what you don't know is that bad habit, that self-destructive lifestyle, or that toxic relationship. That is the connection to those things fighting for survival. But you wanting to do something new has to be stronger than that connection. And it's up to you to decide, am I really afraid or am I excited? Because somebody said, I don't remember who it was, somebody told me that in the brain, being afraid and being excited produce the same chemical process. I'm not sure if that's true. That's what Google and DuckDuckGo are for. You can look that up on your own time. Okay. Fear is self-destruction fighting for survival. And when you begin to move beyond all of that, that's when things really get pretty cool. So now that we're talking about this, I promise I'm not going to keep you guys here for too long today. But I'm so lit about Ivan being on the show. That just made me so happy. Where do we go from here? What do you do now? How do you move past being afraid of making steps to do? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I went from a very strict, structured, severe lifestyle before I went into the adult entertainment industry. And the freedom I felt when I was finally able to work for myself, set my own hours, decide when I was not going to make certain kinds of money. The freedom of choice, the freedom to be home when I needed to or wanted to, the freedom to be sick and stay in my bed, or the freedom to say who I was and was not going to work with. There are many different reasons to work for yourself. There are many different reasons to open a business. And if you are feeling like one of those reasons is very strong for you right now, the first thing you want to do is decide what would make you happy to do for a living. Now, not all of us have that idea in our head yet. Some of us have no idea. We have no clue what to do if we work for ourselves. So here's what we say. What do you absolutely love? What do you absolutely love to do? Like when you were little, what would you spend the most time doing? Would you spend time pretending to be a character that you loved, or playing with an invisible friend, or playing with the kids? I mean, did you like building things? One of the ways to figure out what would make you most happy to do working for yourself. How did you spend most of your time as a child? Or what is your calling? If you have a spiritual connection to your faith, what do you feel like your higher power is telling you to do? What is your mission? These are all things that coaches, life coaches or professional coaches can help you, discern for yourself. A coach is someone who is a bit of a translator. Now, mental health professionals and coaches are two different things. Mental health treats mental health issues. They treat psychological conditions. Coaches help you discern goals, help you stay on track. Coaches give you the motivation and the insight about how to get to where you want to go after you figure out what those goals are. Ivan Jimenez is going to be an exciting individual for the people he coaches, the people he needs. They also help you reach for bigger and better successes. So if you're not quite sure what business you want to start, that's okay. But at least you're talking about, I eventually want to have my own business. Guys, it's not as hard as people make it out to be. Being a business owner, there are some tricky parts to it, but there are people everywhere to give you answers to everything. If you don't want to be a life coach, great. Okay. Do you want to be a consultant? Do you know a lot about a subject and you can help people fix how they're screwing something up? Right there. That is a business. That is being a consultant. Or you could open a store. Is there something that you really want to sell? Do you want to have a traditional brick and mortar store? You could start in your garage. People do it all the time. And if you still need to work a 9 to 5, which most people do, I mean, even myself, I still have a little bit of a connection to my former occupation, still have it operating so I can get other things off the ground to be able to fully function without needing that connection anymore. I'm not going to say it because it's inappropriate, but I'm about 90% disconnected from what I used to do for a living. If you need to keep a 9 to 5 job and work on launching your business a little bit at a time, that's what people do. That's how it works for most folks. Unless you're independently wealthy, and then you. We don't need to be having this conversation. You need to be giving me your money. Just playing. Or Ivan, give Ivan some money. Or some of our other experts who are new business owners. I'll tell you what, if I didn't have another cup of coffee. Oh, speaking of which. Before we go any further. I guess that is. Okay. I wanted to let you guys know that All Joy Inspired is a strong supporter of Beard Vet. Beard Vet, you can find them at beardvet.com. I had a graphic, but I was dealing with another, expansion thing. So I might. I'm not going to put you through that. We're a strong supporter of beardvet.com. Beard Vet and their staff are all veterans. Their company is owned and operated by veterans, and that includes those with some special needs. And portions of their proceeds go to veteran charities and veteran causes. They also have a race car team, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So you guys check out their website, beardvet.com. They are very good friends of mine and All Joy Inspired. Beardvet.com. So, why would you get a coaching service? Because you're not quite in a place to deal with mental health conditions, to have those healed, or maybe you've worked through your major mental health concerns and now you're just ready to make the most of your life. You're ready to figure out what goals will get you to where you want to be. What goals do you need to make to achieve that greatness that you know is inside you? That's what a coach does. Look it up. There are different prices for everybody, different kinds of coaches. I've got some serious weird heartburn right now. I don't know what my problem is. And for those of you who are ready to go all in and you're ready to get the advanced education, you're ready to get the advanced connections, to building an empire. There are services and there are institutes. Wink, wink, wink. I know that was not attractive. I don't have to be beautiful on camera right now because that's not the product I'm selling. So I am not worried about looking foolish or maybe even a little cockeyed. So for me. But if you are looking to get advanced education and advanced guidance, there are people that I can connect you with. Just let me know in the comments wherever you happen to be on one of these platforms, because I'm still looking cross-eyed right now. I can't keep track of all this. I'm still new. I'm in the process of hiring a producer so I can talk to you and not have all these buttons and stuff to push. It's a lot, you guys. It's a lot to handle. But let me know if you guys want information about, piece by piece by piece, building an empire. If that's where you want to do it from the get-go, instead of starting small, you want to go all in, let me know. I'll take care of you. Okay, now, alljoyinspired.store. You guys know it is brand new. It's a little goofy right now. I made a couple of mistakes. Nothing terrible. Had them fixed about 45 minutes ago. So all the orders are going out. They're all going out. And don't forget that in our gift shop, we give a 20% discount to all military members, first responders, and all of their family members. Now that's active duty, reservist, retired, and prior service. We appreciate you too. So with that, you guys, I'm going to get to the Q&A. Please remember that if you are on Facebook, you have to give StreamMate permission to see you. Oh, this one's from Antonio. Hey, Liz, can you please set up instant translation? I'm going to write that down. That is important to you. Show notes. Instant translation, is that because you are from outside of the United States or North America? Instant translation. Yes, I will look into that today. And we will definitely put in our best effort to make that available for next week. Yes. And hi, Antonio. Thank you for being here today. Liz, I didn't know you were a vet. Well, a lot of people choose not to see my lifetime before being inappropriate on camera. It's not something I talk about a lot because I spent so much more time doing something which I wish people would forget. And I don't want people to associate my very brief military service with what I'm well known for. So I don't talk about it a lot. It is very dear to my heart. My husband is retired. He actually retired. It was 3 months after we got shut down. 3 months into the pandemic, he retired after 20 years of service. Both of my sons are prior service, and they're veterans, and everyone in my family. So at some point, everyone in my family serves in uniform at some point. My son now is law enforcement. He is in Colorado, and my other boy, he just came home. So we're happy about that. Yep, that's the one. Who do we have here? Hi, thank you. It's good to see you, Louise. Appreciate you being here. Ivan is one cool dude. Ivan is one cool dude. I'm telling you, he's an awesome dude. Jamal, you're next. You're coming up on my show. I'm gonna have you on my show too because I want to talk to you. I know you've got a wild brain in your head, Jamal. I want to figure out what the insides of your brain are about. Okay, and we are almost done for the day. Oh, Italiano. I understand a little bit of Italian, but I don't speak very much at all. But I'm going to work on that translator for you. I know it's important to you. Hi, Allura. Hello, Sam Mas. My name is Elizabeth Spraggins. I am the actress who played Allura Jensen for 15 years on and off camera. My name is Elizabeth Spraggins. Elizabeth Marie Anne, very Catholic. It's very Catholic. Spraggins. And yes, it is Italian. Yes. My name's Elizabeth now. I invite you to address me as Elizabeth. Okay. All right, you guys, we have had one of my favorite shows. This one's going to go down as one of my favorite. Ivan Jimenez. Look him up. Contact All Joy Inspired to get his information, or you can join Digging from Darkness, Living in Light. There we have many group experts of all areas of expertise, of interest, of life experience, of connections to people around them. Next week, I'm really hoping to get Catherine Santos and Richard Bushner on the show. Two other of my classmates, also graduates of the institute that I went to, and they are store owners now, as well as giving back to their communities in ways that make their spirits happy. So, Catherine Santos, Richard Bushner, I'm eyeballing you. You're on my list, yo. You guys have an amazing day. This has been one of my favorite shows. I look forward to seeing everyone next week. Don't forget, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Saturday. I'll see you guys next week.